Okay, so now that we've done all the SoundCloud era songs, I think it's only right to cover City Morgue Volume 1, Hell or Highwater, which is probably the most well-known and most beloved of all the City Morgue outings, filled top to bottom with absolute bangers, and to many, it was their first introduction to the Morgue's iconic style. Which also includes me, but now that it's been a couple years since I last listened to it, and I have the added context of all their SoundCloud era outings, it leads me to wonder, would I still rank this project as high up as I initially thought, and which songs stand above the rest? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to give this project a listen and rank them all. Also, I'm not factoring music videos into the ranking, as well as not even using them because YouTube hates me and wants my channel to burn, so I guess we're going with interview footage here. So I hope that's alright with you. But anyways, boys, girls, and non-binary friends, let's rank these songs in the most PG appropriate way possible when we look at City Morgue Volume 1, Hell or Highwater. So at the very bottom of the list, I'm putting Lamborghini Getaway. And I don't really know how popular this song is overall, but I have to imagine people liked it quite a bit, seeing as how it got a music video and all. But to me, the track's just pretty boring overall. I don't really think the beat's that good, and Zilla's annoying singing really takes it down a couple notches for me. And while Mula definitely does have a hard verse, which kind of helps it out a little bit, it still doesn't feel that much of an impactful song. I really feel like this song is mostly remembered for its music video, and if it didn't have that, I don't think most people would even take a second look at it when listening to the entire album. Okay, so now that nobody's watching anymore, we gotta talk about Nuka-Cola. And this really shows how most of these songs on the project kind of blend together. There's honestly just nothing special about this track. Zilla kind of has a nursery rhyme type flow. And while Mula's verse is pretty hard, it just seems like the beat is holding him back, and he's going a little bit too aggressive on an overall pretty boring beat. Which really sucks that I dislike this beat, because it does feel a little bit spooky like all of their tracks off of Be Patient, but it never hits the same highs, and overall it just kind of drowns on and on and on. Next up we got Ken Park. And I really hate to put the One Sos Mula solo so low on this list because I really feel like it's actually a good song, it just doesn't fit that well. It's really cool to see him and Black Cray go bar for bar, and I really like what Black Cray does on this with his kind of weird ad-libs and overall just kind of off-key style. Especially the definitely adds a lot to it, but it just feels like it doesn't fit. And while I do like a more chilled out track between the more aggressive ones, I just feel like this should have went on a Sos Mula solo project. But luckily Cray does have a chance to redeem himself a little bit later into the track list. Next up we got Snow on the Bluff. And I feel like this has the opposite problem for me from Nuka-Cola, where the beat is really good, spooky, and kind of different, but they just don't do a whole lot with it. It sounds like both Zilla and Mula are just messing around with this verse. The hook is kind of annoying honestly, and the whole track just feels like a freestyle and kind of a waste of beat. I really feel like they could have done so much more with this one, especially with Black Cray. I feel like if he had been on there, he could have given them a little bit more guidance, but as it is now, it's just kind of a waste of potential. Next up is Downer. And it's very similar to Snow on the Bluff, kind of a basic beat. Zilla is putting on a weird deep voice, and Mula is way too energetic for this type of song. On other tracks where the beat doesn't quite fit, it seems like Mula tones it down a little bit and does a different style, but not here. Mula is definitely doing his full-on thing, and it sounds like he's punching and fighting the beat the entire time. But I don't want to say that the track takes anything away from the album. It definitely doesn't hurt it, but it doesn't really add anything either. It's just a perfect filler song, so overall I do like it. I just have a little bit of criticism for it. So at this point you're saying he doesn't even like any of the tracks on this album. Why is he even reviewing it and ranking them in the first place? Well, I actually do. I just had to rank those a little bit lower. I had little problems with all of them, but I just want to let you guys know I actually like every song off this project, just some of them have to go lower than others. Now we're starting to get into the really good stuff because we got Kalalinga. I'm not going to lie to you, for the first song off the first official City Morgue album, the energy is kind of low. Which is most likely because the label didn't want to scare away first-time listeners with too much all at once, but in my opinion, they should have just hit them with the insanity right out of the gate, because this song just comes off as somewhat of a Diet City Morgue song. But don't get me wrong, it is a good song. The ad-libs are good, the chorus definitely works, and I especially like the flow Zilla uses partway through. But of course, the real highlight of the song is Mula, coming in with the faster flow and more iconic and memorable bars, especially sipping on Walk Out on Du Perrier. That one always just stuck with me for some reason. But overall, the track is a perfectly fine City Morgue song with some extra spice from Mula, but nothing more than that. Now, in my opinion, Arson definitely should have been the first track off of this album, because the beat is faster, the hook is more biting, and the censored name effect is super cool. If you're gonna show anybody City Morgue, I really feel like this song is a good contender for the first one you should show them, because overall it just really feels like the most City Morgue song on this project. I remember Adam saying something on No Jumper about how their music makes it sound like New York is a full-on war zone, and this song definitely matches that tone because they sound like full-on warlords here. You got Zilla coming in with the fast flow, and then you got Mullah's ad-libs, which help to perfectly highlight each of the bars that Zilla spits out. And of course, Mullah's verse is also killer. Overall, it just sounds like a perfect City Morgue song, and the only real downside I have about this track is that Mullah's verse could have been a little bit longer, which isn't uncommon all things considered, but I really wish he could have had just a few more bars and maybe a little bit longer of a verse on this one, and it would have made for the perfect City Morgue song. It's kind of hard to rank all these songs when so many of them sound so similar, but I really do like So What. I just don't have that much to say about it. It's got a really aggressive Mullah opener with a more chilled out sound from Zilla. And then the hook is pretty rhythmic and nice. I really like it. I feel like the hook is the strongest point of this entire song. I mean, it's not going to blow you away and it doesn't really stand out that much on the project, but for what it is, it's good. Definitely deserves to be on the track list, but doesn't go above and beyond. Next up, we got Grave Hop 187. This is one of the most memorable tracks on the entire project, and I feel like it's the most reminiscent of their early SoundCloud work. It's got insane verses from both Zilla and Mullah with a more chilled out middleman to break it up, which I always really enjoyed from the group because I feel like some of their songs just feel so generic when both of them are just screaming at the top of their lungs and nothing really breaks it up, but with Black Cray dead set in the middle, it really helps it out. And it really makes me wish that Black Cray would work with them more often with his drowning corpse-like vocals. I know oftentimes that'd be seen as an insult, but for Cray that's definitely a compliment. It just really helps mix both sad boy rap and trap metal together, which are both genres I really enjoy, but the one downside of this one is once again Mullah's verse just isn't that strong. It's not that it's too short, it's just that, I don't know, it's not as hitting as some of his other ones on the project. And I think we're starting to see the early signs of the label kind of messing with Mullah's vocals and moving him back and trying to make him a sidekick in the whole City Morgue aesthetic, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe that doesn't come until later, but I'm starting to see that a little bit with this track. Oh yeah, and with all that said, Grave Hop! Grave Hop! Yeah, iconic. PTSD is a pretty different song for the Morgue, but I really like it. They step away from the more overblown scraping metal beats and choose instead a faster thumping beat where they both get to go really fast and they go back and forth, and each of them highlight each other very well. On a lot of the tracks off this album, it seems like Zilla has the entire song to himself, with Mullah kind of just being a side character, or if Mullah does actually get a verse, he seems to body Zilla completely, but on this one, they both have a very satisfying output. Got good pacing and ad-libs, and at first I thought Mullah was going to steal the show on this track, but Zilla's second verse goes crazy, really showing us a flow from him we've never seen before. And I feel like this track is definitely the perfect song to play in your car while you're going at high speeds, driving down the highway, because it really feels like just a fast flyby song that gives you all the energy you want without overstaying its welcome. Which some of these tracks definitely do. Okay, so you know at this point is going to be hard because we have Skatehead, Shinner's 13, and Black Street, which are all very iconic songs from the Morgue, but I do have to rank them, and I feel like the weakest of all of them is Black Street. To be fair, this could probably switch on any day, so don't take this too seriously, but right now I gotta say that Black Street is the weakest, but it's still a very strong, very powerful, and very iconic City Morgue track. Right off the bat, the Light Yagami laugh goes hard as hell, and the beat is immediately haunting, dark, and foreboding, which I really like. However, I don't like the weird accent Zilla puts on in his verse, but of course he saves it with the chorus, so it doesn't matter that much. But it is kind of weird. I feel like some of the Morgue's most memorable bars ever come from this song, and in my opinion, this is a track where the Morgue really became the Morgue. I mean, don't get me wrong, Shinner's 13 definitely is a great song, and I actually prefer it to this one, but I feel like once Black Glass came out, it showed that they weren't just a one-trick pony that could only do one style. They could do different, they could do haunting, they could do drowning, they could do iconic, they could do anything. I mean, iconic is not a style, but you get what I mean. And of course, it's another track where each member gets equal representation, which really helps it stand above the rest. And of course, Godzilla with the microwave!
Godzilla with the microwave!
Next up, we got Shinner's 13.
One for the game, two for the fame.
Which I can't describe as anything else besides a war anthem, with both members tearing it up and understanding the feel of the track perfectly. I don't know if these two have ever managed to feed off each other's energy so well and be so in sync, but they really catch the vibe of this song and play it off perfectly. The hook is probably the most powerful one off the entire album, with Zilla's haunting woes echoing through the entire track. And even though I don't usually like Thrax, he really killed the beat on this one, and I have to give it to him. He didn't go too overboard on it, really showing that you don't have to scream like a demon to make a really good trap metal song. Now finally, we have Skatehead. And this track is really strange because I truly do feel like Mula's verse just doesn't fit, but he does manage to spit it out in such a way with so much energy alongside it that you just can't help but like it. I guess you could say it's kind of a similar effect to a Blueface song, and I'm definitely not saying those two are similar in any way, but you know, he's definitely fighting the beat here, but he's doing it in such a successful way, and he has so much energy and gusto in what he's doing that it just comes out sounding great. It's definitely the most Mula you get on the entire album, and he even switches flows a couple times, helping to hype the track up, leading to the chorus. And when you hear "I'm sleazy, big sleaze," that's the moment you know that a star was born. And this is also the most happy that Zilla sounds on the entire project, because let's be honest, he's now in his depressed sad boy era, and I sorely miss this type of Zilla where he really feels like he's having fun, spitting, going crazy, but also just enjoying making music in general. I'm not going to sit here and say I want the old City Morgue back, but I definitely would like this type of energy to continue on. But I know what you're saying, Skatehead, but isn't there one more song left? Yeah, that's right, I put one song above all of these iconic tracks, and that one is Aw Shit. And I know everyone's gonna say I'm crazy. There's no way this is my favorite track off the album, and I know it's a Zilla solo, so a lot of people are gonna think I'm being biased to Zilla. But if you know me, you know that I usually prefer Sos Mula, but Zilla just tears this track up. The energy right out of the gate. Oh shit, who came in the party on that nonsense? He's completely relentless, the flow just doesn't stop. There's not one single boring moment of this track. It's 2 minutes of pure fire. And the beat kind of sounds like an average SoundCloud kind of trap beat with a little bit more of a party theme to it, which I really like because it shows that Zilla definitely could have matched himself into the SoundCloud wave, which unfortunately he never really went with that, and I feel like maybe that was a good idea, but I definitely want to see more of this style. I truly do believe if Zilla was making music like this constantly and he was dropping solo projects that sounded just like this, he would definitely be on top of the rap game right now. He absolutely needs to bring this style back. Aw Shit is an amazing song, one of the best Zilla songs ever. I used to listen to the song all the time in high school, and then I forgot about it for about 5 years, but when I went to make this video and I turned it back on, it hit the same way as it did all the way back then. Truly timeless track. Trap metal is always going to go through ebbs and flows, but with a track like this, I feel like it can stand in any era, and it's going to go down as one of the best Zilla, City Morgue, and best song on the entire Volume 1 project of all time, or at least in my opinion. And that is the list. Were you able to stick to the end? Do you hate me now? Do you think I got everything completely wrong? Well, definitely let me know. Overall, just let me know your thoughts on the entire project in the comments below. Like the video or dislike it if you didn't like it. Leave a knife emoji in the comments below. Knife gang. Hey, if you want to subscribe, that'd be really cool too. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers and I'm almost there. Yeah, brothers and sisters, that is City Morgue Volume 1. Let me know if you want me to do Volume 2. And for now, that's it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you.